कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय लाभा यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरंजन यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम जय प्रभुपादा शिला प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव। So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 11, Shloka 7. So you repeat after me. Normally we do like that, right? Tavanayam vyavahara sadavi Tavanayam vyavahara sadavi क्षेत्रज्ञ साक्षो भवति स्थूल सूक्ष्म तत्रज्ञ साक्षो भवति स्थूलसूक्ष्मं तस्मान्मनो लिङ्गमदो वदन्ति तस्मान्मनो वदन्ति गुणागुणत्वस्य परावरस्य परा word by word meaning. Tavan, until that time, I am this Vyavaharaha, the artificial designation being the artificial designations, being fat or skinny or belonging to the demigods or human beings, or belonging being. Sada, always. Aviha, manifesting. Kshetragya, of the living entity. Sakshya, testimony. Bhavati, is. Sthula suksham. Sukshama. Sthula sukshama. Fat and skinny. Tasmat, therefore. Manaha, the mind. Lingam, the cause. Adah, this. Vadanti, they say. Guna aguna natavasya, of being absorbed in material qualities or devoid of material qualities. Para avarasya, and of lower and higher conditions of life. Translation: the mind makes the living entity within this material world wander through different species of life, and thus the living entity experiences mundane affairs in different forms of a human being. Demigod, fat person, skinny person, and so forth. Learned scholars say that bodily appearance, bondage, and liberations are caused by the mind. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Just as the mind is the cause of bondage, it can also be the cause of liberation. The mind is described here as a para-avara. Para-avara. Para means transcendental and avara means material. When the mind is engaged in the Lord's service, it is called para, transcendental. When the mind is engaged in material sense gratification, it is called avara or material. At the present moment, in our conditioned state, our mind is fully absorbed in material sense gratification. But it can be purified and brought to its original Krishna consciousness by the process of devotional service. We have often given the example of Ambrish Maharaj. Savai manaha Krishna padara vindareor vachamsi vaikuntha gunanu varnane. The mind must be controlled in Krishna consciousness. The tongue can be utilized to spread the message of Krishna and glorify the Lord or take prasad. The remnants of food offered to Krishna, sevana mukhahi jihvado. When one utilizes the tongue in the service of the Lord, the other senses can become purified, as stated in the Narad Pancharatra. Sarvopadhi vinirmukhatam tat paratevena nirmalam. When the mind and sense are purified, one's total existence is purified, and one's designations are also purified. One no longer considers himself a human being, a demigod, cat, dog, Hindu, Muslim, and so forth. When the sense and mind are purified and one is fully engaged in Krishna's service, one can be liberated and return home back to Godhead. So, I think everything is clear, right? We need a lecture? No, so the mind, right? So, I mean, we are reading Bhagavatam, spiritual text, but even if you think otherwise, okay, what is mind? Anybody know where the mind is? Any idea where our mind is? heard from doctor where our mind is?
Inside our head. Here.
Inside our head? Mind or its brain?
Brain. It's brain.
Look for mind. So,
They're both same. Mind and brain.
are they same? Brain is gross, right? It's a physical element. Mind you can see. Can doctor pick up and fix the mind? Is there any way? Any mind surgery? Have you ever heard about mind surgery? Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So we heard about brain surgery. I had 2 brain surgeries. But there is nothing called mind surgery. So mind is basically the thought and the perception which we create, right? It's basically the subtle object, right? Mind, intelligence, ego, right? And mind is one of the most difficult one to control. And if you look at even the Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, 6.6, he explains how to control mind when he explains the yoga, right? Buddhi yoga. So it is one of the most debated topic, and the whole Krishna conscious movement is basically controlling or engaging the mind in a proper way. So I was hearing some of the lectures, and one of the very nice example which came regarding mind, or this incident, if you look at here, King Rahuguna and the Sambad, the conversation between King Rahuguna and Jad Bharat. And if you see the little bit of parallel, so that Krishna was he was the charioteer of Arjun in Kurukshetra, and there he was explaining the Buddhi Yoga, the Bhagavad Gita to, or giving the Gyan, how to control mind to whom? Arjun. Okay. He was a charioteer. Here also, it's not chariot, but it's a palanquin. But who was the bringing the palanquin? It was Jad Bharat. And he is basically giving Gyan to King Rahuguna. So so there is an audience, there is a guru, a kind of guru, because end of the day, Arjuna also accepts Krishna as a guru, and Rahuguna also accepts Jad Bharat as a guru. There is other similar, but it's a negative connotation of when who was Krishna's father? Devki's Vasudeva and Kamsa, the Sambad between Vasudeva and Kamsa, right? There Vasudeva is also trying to preach Kamsa. But the perception of all these minds, Arjun, Rahuguna and Kamsa, are all different. Okay? End of the day, they all listen to the person. Arjuna listen to Krishna and acts upon that. Rahuguna listen to Jad Bharat, he is acting upon that. But in the Kamsa, it was not so easy, right? There he made a deal. Okay, that's the perception, because that mind is engaged in a very negative way. Yeah, and it's all in, many a times you have heard, it's all in the mind, right? What is in the mind? In my childhood, and it's all perception, how you look at that particular situation. When I was very young means really very young, so my father used to tell one story. I will try to, speak as much closely I can. So, he used to tell me that how the mind works, how the perception works. The same thing sometimes is positive, sometimes it is negative. Okay, it's the way you look at that particular situation. So, the cotton. Do you know how the cotton grows? Cotton, it grows in the field. So it is plucked and it is stacked, okay, and it is shipped, okay, to the factories and all. And the factory and all, it is ginning process. Basically, the cotton is separated out of the seed and it makes fluffy, because the pillow which we use, if it is solid, it's not good. It has to be fluffy. So when the cotton comes, so now there are big machines, right? But in old days it was done by individual person. Okay, so they will have a string, okay, and they will play on the cotton, and the cotton will become like cloud, okay, and that is put into pillow or into whatever it is for our use. So one day the guy who basically does the make the cotton ginning, okay, he was sitting on a seaside, and there was a big ship going. So he asked somebody that what is there in the ship. So he was told that there is a cotton in the ship. Okay, when this guy heard, okay, he said, "Oh my God, who is going to gain so much of cotton?" And that went into his mind because he knows that how much it is effort. Okay, and he became sick, just thinking that one shipload of cotton, who is going to gain them? Okay, that went into his mind. Okay, he remained sick for a couple of months. Okay, and whatever medicine he takes, okay, nothing happens. It was always, it was not that he was always telling, but somehow it has gone into his mind, it has affected his whole body. Then he went to a doctor, and the doctor, many doctors tried to give him medicine, but nothing happened. But one doctor asked him that, "When this happened to you, my friend?" He said, "One day I was sitting there on the sea coast, and he narrated the whole incident." The doctor understood. So the doctor said, "Oh, is that? You know what? You didn't read the newspaper. That ship caught fire and all the cottons are burned." Okay, it's okay, is it? And he got cured. So look, ultimately nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was all in the mind of perception. Okay, this is how mind works. Of course, this incident is a bit funny, okay, but it's a real situation of our mind. How we perceive the things, okay. Even in office and all, once when I was very new to the working place, and I used to have, because when you are young, you have a huge energy, okay. So I used to get confronted with people. So my boss told me, he made one statement that perception is truth unless until it's proven otherwise. Okay. So the perception goes into our mind. We make a certain perception about certain organizations, certain people and all. Okay. And when it goes, okay, it remains there. And that's why we need to engage our mind in a proper direction. Another example, when you see in our devotee life, if you look at many devotees come together, right? If you go to, even in this temple I have seen, okay, there are few devotees who make very steady and continuous progress. There are few devotees who do not make steady and continuous progress. The situation is same, the same temple, the same Mangala-arti, the same Bhagavatam class, but it varies, okay, from people to people, because, okay, the way somebody's mind perceives that knowledge. Yeah. Also, if you look at some people, it's the same devotion service, right? Some people will be very keen to on the shastras. Yeah, they are if you ask them to go and do some other work, they will not be. But out of that, there will be someone, okay, who is very keen in managing finance. He has not, of course he is reading, but he is not so much interested in reading. Okay, his focus is always on the, okay, how do I bring this much money? Okay, there will be some people who will be very much keen in cooking, okay, or doing seva. Unless until he does some seva, he is not satisfied. Yeah, so this is how the mind works. Yeah, And the positive and negative connotations of the mind is again how do we engage the mind. We are talking about bhakti, Krishna consciousness in that context here. But in normal scenario also, if you look in today's context, I was listening to Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj. He was telling that we see it a very lighter way, that mind, controlling mind and engaging mind, but it has a very visible impact on the society which we live in. Yeah. Of course, here we are talking about bhakti and bhakti related, but it's not only that. Even it is very important in the society that how the minds are nurtured and how they are basically developed. Okay, if there is not a good mind in the society, okay, especially the children, okay, if they are not given proper knowledge, okay, there is a high chance that the society goes in a very wrong direction, because it's all in the mind. Yeah. Why when the child is there, we don't expose the child to very violent things? Those who are sane people, right, they don't expose their children to anything violent, even in this part of the world where many people are meat eater. But you see, have you ever seen any slaughterhouse? Slaughterhouses are all closed because people don't want to see that violence, or they don't want their children to see that. The moment they see this, okay, nobody will be eating meat because it's such a violent process. Okay. And this mind, okay, given the circumstances, Maharaj was telling that in UK, every 70 minutes, every 70 minutes, there is a suicide. Why? Things are same for everybody. The same land, the same bus, the same tree, the same environment. Somebody is making good progress, somebody is forced to commit suicide. Right? It's all about the perception, the way we perceive the thing around us. Even if you see in some society where there is a lot of violence, okay, the primary reason that right from the beginning, the person or the children are taught to engage in certain activities, okay, which basically manifest in certain point of time as a violence. Okay, it's all around the world. It's not that we have to tell, right? So, how to control that mind, right? And Prabhuji said the only way to control the mind is basically engaging in the service of Lord, engaging in the devotional service, engaging yourself or ourself rather, okay, in Dhyana Yoga. That's what in the 6.6, Bhagavad Gita 6.6, Krishna tells. So, and these lectures, now here, if you look at this context, okay, it's not that Jad Bharat is telling out of his own whims, right? One day he came to Brahaguna that, hey, you need to control your mind, you are not good, okay, if you don't control mind, this happen. It's not theoretical. For us, it may be theoretical knowledge, right? For Jad Bharat, it was really a practical experience, okay? Jad Bharat, he was King Bharat, okay? Because he was a very highly elevated soul. He left his kingdom and went to forest, okay, to practice devotional service, to practice yoga, okay, to engage himself in the service of Lord. But due to, you can say, mercy of Lord or whatever is the reason, okay, he got entangled into with this, or he got entangled into Maya, and he was always thinking about the small deer, Okay, and that's where the journey of Bharat, Jad Bharat begins. Okay, so it's very important, okay, in our day-to-day life, that where do we engage our mind. The engagement of mind cannot be just out of our own concoction. Okay, it has to go through a proper process. And what is the most what we call most prescribed process for mind engagement? It's basically to get into shelter of a guru. Okay, that's very, very important. We just cannot read Shastra, okay, by our own knowledge, by our own what we call by our own wisdom, okay, and try to understand it. Okay, many people have read Shastra, right? Not everybody become devotee. If you go to many places, okay, if you start talking to, even if you start talking to Jad Bharat story to any person, he will say, I know what is Jad Bharat. But does he know that what is the objective behind all these stories? Okay, what is the bhakti marga? So the most important thing as per the Shastra is basically to engage, or basically to control the mind, is basically to engage into devotional service. Devotional service under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Because there is a saying, in our classes, there was a Guru Govind Dou Khade. Guru and Govind. Guru is Guru, Govind is Krishna. Guru Govind Dou Khade Kake Lagu Paye. Means, whom should I pay my obeisances? Okay, Guru Govind Dou Khade Kake Lagu Paye. Balihari Guru Apne Govind Diyo Milaye. All glories to Guru who helped me to put me in the service of Govind. So the most important thing in the devotional service is basically accepting a bona fide Guru. Yeah? Without Guru, if anybody thinks, even Krishna had Guru. Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself, he also accepted Guru. Yeah? And these are the examples which Lord present to us as an example, so that we know that what is the importance of Guru in our life, especially in the Bhakti Marga. And mind that the change of mind or controlling of the mind does not happen overnight. There is no way it happens overnight. Something happens overnight, okay. But in devotional service, nothing happens by chance. Okay, everything is planned. Without planning, nothing happens. So, if we need to control our mind, we need to basically use certain processes, right? Basically, to control our tongue, okay, to control. So it's not like you heard about Gandhi, right? So Gandhi had 3 monkeys, okay. So don't see bad, close the eye. Don't hear bad, close the ear. Don't say bad, close the mouth. But that's not Krishna conscious philosophy. We don't disassociate, we don't close anything. We keep it open. We just engage, because it's not possible to control the senses by closing the senses. It's impossible for at least in case of human being. Okay, if you look at the horse, right? So I don't know how it happens here, but in India, if they don't want the horse to look this way or that way, okay, they will put a jab into the horse mouth so that his mouth is controlled. If you go to Gangotri and all, somebody go in pony, okay, and the path is very narrow. And beside the path, there are a lot of green grasses are there. So, when people are sitting on a pony, the pony is trying to go down to eat the grass. And the guy who's sitting there, he's totally, he's very worried. So whenever if the owner doesn't want or control the horse, his movement, he will put a cap on his mouth so that he's not going around. But that cannot be in the case of human. Even they put some blinders to the horse so that the horse will walk straight. But that may be possible for animals, even that is also temporary. But in case of human being, the senses need to be engaged into proper fashion. And how do we engage the senses? The engagement of senses comes in the form of remembering the Lord, or engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord, or withdrawing the senses from those activities which are hindrance to our devotional service. Like many of us, at least I have, the habit of sometime overeating. So control the tongue. Okay. What we see, we basically always when we get up in the morning, we try to see the beautiful face of Lord Shyam Sundar. It's not easy. We say we want to see the face of Lord Shyam Sundar. It can only happen if you have a devotion in your heart. For us, it is easy that we came take darshan of the Lord, but for many people, it's not the case. I have seen in the temple there are many people who do lot of seva outside, okay, but they have never entered into the temple, because if you are not pure, or if you don't want to cleanse your heart, it's not easy to look at the Lord. It's not easy to chant Harinam, because at least I can vouch for myself. When we started chanting, when we chant, it was not that I was remembering Krishna always. I'm chanting. All the bad things started coming in the mind. All the past did. Okay, it all comes, except Krishna. Everything comes while chanting. But it takes time. I think all of you are experienced there. It takes a time, a continuous process. So, while on the face of it seems very easy that I'm reading Shastra, we are taking darshan, okay, but the mind has to be trained, and again, to be frank, there are also past karma. It's not that everybody has the fortune to step into temple and take the darshan of the Lord, or sitting. There are very, I don't want to name, but there are people who do so much seva in the temple but cannot sit 1 minute in the lecture. Because the moment people hear the lecture, okay, it looks like the lecture, the speaker is just telling him or her. Because there is so much karma. There is so much karma which we have accumulated. And how to get rid of that karma is basically engaging in the devotional service. Hearing, doing kirtan, okay. And the best, sometimes this question asks that I know that I am progressing. I think a couple of months back somebody asked, and recently I was with some of the new devotees. We went to Hungary, okay, and some of the devotees, when they hear the Narsimha Arti, okay, their hair started standing. That's the symptom that this person is generating, or he is getting some love for the Lord. Yeah. So coming back to mind again. So the mind has to be trained in a certain process, okay, in devotional services, in order to control the mind. And if mind is not controlled, it creates problem for us in this life and at the time of death also. Because, as it is said here, at the time of death, if we do not have a controlled mind, if we do not have if the mind is flickering, even I will tell you another line. Not only for devotional service, the mind is even need to be controlled for any proper material activity also. I was told, no, it was in one of our book, that अव्यवस्थित चित्त, it is in Hindi, I will explain in English. अव्यवस्थित चित्त वाले मनुष्य की सफलता में सर्वदा संदेह रहता है. A flickering, there is always a doubt of success for a flickering mind. Means a flickering mind cannot succeed always. There is always a doubt. So the mind need to be controlled even for normal activity. Okay, you cannot have a situation that you have a plan that today I want to go to Basel, and in between you change the plan, you take a train for Ticino. Because it just happened that, okay, I was supposed to go to Basel, but something has changed, I am going to Ticino. Of course, if there is a reason, you can go. Okay, but flickering mind, even in devotional service, okay, if the mind is flickering, okay, that I want to read Bhagavatam, I want to attend the morning class, and then in the afternoon I would like to go to movie, okay, then in the evening I would like to go to beer bar, okay, and since I am reading Bhagavatam, everything will be fine. No, that doesn't work. The mind need to be steady for certain purpose. Okay, whether it is devotional service or professional engagement, or if you want to do a very big project of your family, if you want to set up a business, you need to be focused. The mind has to be focused on certain objective. And for a devotee, the most important objective is basically the focusing the mind on service to Lord. Without that, there is no liberation. And this is confirmed by the story of Jad Bharat. Okay? At the time of death, okay, because of whatever happened to Bharat Maharaj, he got the body of a deer. But since he had so much pious karma, okay, that the deer was always thinking about the Lord, and that deer took as a Jad Bharat. And Jad Bharat, he remembered all his past, and that's why he was always focused. Okay, he didn't wanted to engage himself in any material activity because, okay, once bitten, always shy, right? Once he has got a problem by thinking about the deer, okay, so he had totally withdrawn from the society, a kind of. He was not answering, he was looking like dumb, but never judge a, closed envelope, right? So, yeah, with that we end our session. It's at 8:15 already. So very important that we need to engage ourselves in the devotional service and fix our mind in the devotional service. Hare Krishna. I mean, this is a topic where there is a lot to talk, right? Because I was reading the chapter 11 Bhagavatam yesterday, and there also there were 4 or 5 shlokas which are totally dedicated to controlling of mind. And controlling of mind, any story, Vishwamitra, it's a mind problem, right? He did yaga for so long, but one sleep and the mind is totally bewildered, and the rest is history. Yeah, Purandara, King Purandaraj. I mean, that's also the same thing. So the Bhagavatam is full of stories or full of pastimes, which basically tells that we need to control our mind. A stable mind is the path back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for nice points in connection to mind control. I was just thinking about this example we hear sometimes when we chant and we don't listen properly. It's like switching on the shower and standing next to the shower. And I'm thinking about the morning program. Everybody can take part in the morning program. Prabhupada, he has an open invitation for everyone. And it's a fact, like if you go in under the shower and you... And if you use soap, you will be clean, it's guaranteed. And if you follow the morning program, at least my experience, and I think many others they have the experience, at the end when you walk out of the Bhagavatam class, if you did the whole thing, you feel purified and you feel Krishna in some way.
Yeah.
But how many do it? Exactly this point, like you say. It's in a way very sad, no? That everyone has the opportunity, but then to do it is very difficult.
You know, it's a very nice point. I mean, I have an opinion on that it's not that everybody, if you go to ask anybody, okay, they are all think that this is very good, okay, attending morning program, this is very good, okay, but the conditioning is such, okay, that you are not able to do that. It's all about conditioning, okay, and how this conditioning comes, it was faith towards Krishna, because somebody is not coming to Bhagavatam class because he has to go to office. I'm just an example. Why he has to go to office? If I don't go to office, how do I earn money? Okay, I'm telling my example. Okay, because I need for myself to sustain myself. Why I'm having this thought? Because I don't have proper faith on Krishna. Okay, that if I put my full effort in Krishna, Krishna will somehow sustain me. So, I mean, I personally think it's a matter of how much your faith is strong on Krishna, then, how much you believe that by my own effort I will be able to do. I mean, we were in this our small meetings, right, in Ticino, and one thing which struck me very much about Prabhuji, that his pronunciation that if we have faith in Krishna, Krishna will give us. Okay, and we need to inculcate that kind of faith. It's not easy. Again, it's a past, our past life karma also. I was telling, some people make very fast progress, okay, in devotional service. When I was in Singapore and I came to this, we used to stay in a cave, okay? Cave means it's a flat where 5 people who are interested in Krishna consciousness stayed, okay? All of us were working, okay? All of us were working. But we used to get up in the morning, do Mangala Arati, do Japa, and then we do cooking, and then pack our lunch boxes, go to office. But out of these 5, okay, one became brahmachari. He is a very strong brahmachari as of today. He left Singapore, he went to USA, and he runs a temple. So look, 5 people started a journey. Okay, and one became a very strong brahmachari. Maybe his faith, and I tell you, his faith on Krishna was millions times more than mine faith. And I have seen it practically. So how much you have faith in Krishna, that also decides your progress in your journey. And we should not be shy in accepting that, that I am a little bit lagging behind. Because if I don't identify the problem, then there is no scope for progress, right? So Again, it's all about the faith, Prabhuji. I mean, that's my personal reading, that how much you have faith, and that decides your action, and that decides your progress in devotional service. Yes, Jamuna Mataji.
Thank you so much for your lecture, Prabhu. When you were speaking about the thing that we put into our mind will stay there, at least for some time, I was thinking how to deal with things that are coming to our mind that are actually not supposed to stay there, and how to deal with people with traumas. Because it's obvious that these bad things are sticking in their mind like anything, although they chant for years, but it's just not going out. So could you give some advice on this?
I'm not the expert to give advice, but I can share my experience, right? As I said, that perception is truth unless until it is proven otherwise. So when we see somebody, we create a perception in our mind. That this person talks like this person looks like this person behaves like this, so therefore this person is equal to this. I mean, to me, that whenever we meet somebody, take as a face value. So face value means I see you, I basically, so somebody is coming into the temple. I take as a face value that he is a nice person. Because without being nice, it's very difficult to go towards temple in the first place. Do not assume something which is not there. Yeah? That doesn't mean, that we need to be totally unaware of what's happening. That will be self-defeating sometimes. So, for example, somebody wants to do seva in the temple, right? Cooking, right? Somebody wants to come and cook. Now, as a person, what should we do? Right? Should we allow him or her to? But we have certain rules. We say upfront that do this, do this, do this, do this. If that person is ready to do this, then you develop a sense of confidence, right? That this person is basically fitting the goal of the kitchen. Look, there is no very direct answer to that, right? But as a devotee, or as a practicing Krishna consciousness, we do not need to create a negative perception about anything. Having said that, as I said, if there is a snake, you need to have a negative perception that it may bite. If there is a lion, you know the behavior of the lion. You cannot be totally, ignorant. Having a good perception is not ignorance. There is a fine line between them. If there is a, how to put it? Tough. In Malaysia, some of the devotees, they used to preach and preach everywhere. They used to go and preach into beer bar also. They were so much elevated, Mataji, that they have trained their mind, to even they go to beer bar, they preach, they give Bhagavad Gita there, still they are not affected. Still their mind is not becoming corrupt. But I cannot say the same thing about a very neophyte devotee who has just started chanting, I want to go and preach there. Okay, there he need to make a distinction that you are not in a very nice place, right? You need to, we always say that you should not be judgmental, but sometimes you need to judge the things based on sadhu and shastra, right? Otherwise, otherwise it's not very easy. Otherwise, you will always be in a wrong side of the, of the border. So, training the mind in a proper way doesn't mean that you remain ignorant. You should be, you means as a person, we should be always kind to others. But it doesn't mean that somebody is very rude and still you are kind. Of course, you don't hit him or don't abuse him, but at least you can dissociate yourself. Once in Hyderabad, there was a temple being built, okay, and there was some conflict, and there was a conflict between police and the devotees, and then the police inspector was there. There was a very huge rasak was going on, and Jayapataka Maharaj was there, okay, which is very old, it's around 20-25 years back story. Then devotees went to Maharaj, okay, that Maharaj, this is happening, this person is behaving like that, okay. And Maharaj has a very big body, right? So Maharaj walked that and he put a dandvat to the police, okay, and the matter resolved. Even though that guy is a very shrewd guy, the police inspector, he is maybe corrupt, whatever he is, okay, but as a person, okay, Maharaj took that way, because all he has to basically respect the soul and he has to get his job done, right? If that job can be done in a very nicer way, okay, that's what we want to be. But that doesn't mean that, we submit, we are so nice, we are so much trained that we submit unless until we have a huge faith in Krishna, like Jad Bharat, right? He was caught by all those goons and they were about to slaughter him in front of Kali, right? In the previous chapter, that's what we read, okay? But Jad Bharat, he did not resist. He was so much engrossed that he did not even resist anything. He was put on the chopping, whatever it is called at that point of time, okay. But Ma Kali helped him. And if you have so much faith, Krishna will help. But we need to be intelligent. While we need to be very nice devotee, train our mind, but in this context, what we are reading here, the training of mind is purely, we are talking here about our, next birth, that at the time of death, okay, we should be always remembering Krishna and nobody else. So that's how the mind should be trained. I'm not sure whether it answered your question or not, Mataji. Yeah, but there is no direct answer that how should we, when we were in management courses, there is something called situational leadership. Okay. Somebody says leaders are born. Okay, sometimes leaders are born. Okay. But sometimes a leader comes out of situation. Okay. And to come out of situation, you need that, that knowledge which you can apply into that situation. You may be a common man, okay, and there is a total chaos, and in between one person stands up, okay, and he changes the things. He brings all the people along with him, and he moves forward. That's called situation leadership. Similarly, you need to look at the situation, okay, and then accordingly. That's the right training of the mind. Yeah? So there is no direct answer that, what should I do? Yeah, all you should do is basically have faith in Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, Harinam, and read. Because the whole Bhagavatam, at least it's my understanding that Bhagavatam is not telling us anywhere, okay, that what we should do, what you should not do. Nowhere. It tells us that this has happened, this was the king, this was the queen, this was his son, daughter, and this has happened. Okay, this was the situation, this has happened. Now it's up to us that how do we read that, okay, and how do we apply in our day-to-day life. And in order to understand it correctly, okay, we need a guru who will, and that's what the purport, right? Prabhupada's purport tells us that, because in purport it is told that what you should do, what you should not. But the sloka, nowhere it is told that what you should do. It's just the story, just the pastime. So we need to use this pastime, we need to use this knowledge and act accordingly in the situation which we are put into. Hare Krishna. Okay, we close. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvayo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai.